Now in this section we're going to look at how to move or to copy information or data from one place to another. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this entire block of information. So if I click here on cell B4, as you can see B4 is up the top there, and then if I move the mouse pointer over to the last cell, press the shift key down and then click, then release the shift key, that remains selected. So I've now selected this block of data. If I want to, I can click on the Home tab here and I could click on Copy, but notice the shortcut code for copy is Control-C. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this information to the clipboard by pressing Control-C. Notice the little marching lines around the side here in green. That indicates that I can now paste this somewhere else. So if I just click, say, down here on cell B16 and then press Control-V, as you can see it's now been pasted in. If I want to move it over to maybe here and copy it to cell I4, I can press Control-V and in it goes. As you can see, this is all messed up basically because the columns are too narrow. You can see the columns here I've made wider. Here it's just been copied into sort of default column widths. So if I drag across these cells up the top here, and then using that trick we saw earlier, if I double click here, that will resize the width of the columns so it displays okay. So that's how you can basically copy items from one place to another on the same worksheet within a workbook. Now if I want to, I can create a new worksheet. So I'll create a new worksheet by clicking on this item down here, and what I can do is I can click, say, on cell C5, and if I press Control-V, you can see the data gets pasted in. Again, I need to select these columns here, double click on the little line between one of the columns, and that will resize it. So as you can see, the original data is on sheet 1, and on sheet 4, which is here, that's a copy of the data. Now what I can do is I can create an entirely new workbook if I want to. So you can see the data there is still selected. If I click on where it says File, New, and just click on here to create a blank workbook. If I click on a cell, doesn't matter which one, maybe that one there, I can click on Control-V, and again I'll just widen these. And as you've seen, that's now been copied from the original workbook to a totally different workbook. So that's how you copy from one place to another. Let's go and reselect this data, and instead of pressing Control-C, which is the copy command, I'll use the cut command. So I could go here and use the cut command from here, but notice the shortcut there is Control-X. So if I select that data, press Control-X, and then click somewhere else and press Control-V, that moves it from one place to another. Let's say I wanted to move it back up here. I would basically select it, press Control-X, so that means we can cut it to someplace else. And if I click here and press Control-V, it moves from one place to another. So copy is copy and cut is move. If I reselect this data, clearly we're on sheet 1 here. Let's press Control-X to cut it into the memory. If I go to maybe sheet 3 over here and just click somewhere and press Control-V, and we'll drag across to resize so it looks okay. That's in sheet 3. If we go back to sheet 1, it's no longer there because we cut it, we moved it. If I select this information here in sheet 3 of the document and press Control-X for the cut command, again I can go File, New Worksheet, click somewhere in here, press Control-V, and again I'll just resize those by double clicking here. That information has now been moved from the original document to here. So if we go back to the document we started off with, which was sheet 3 on this worksheet, it's moved from there to an entirely new workbook, so it's actually moved over here. So that's how you can either move or copy within the workbook, or within the worksheet rather. You can copy to a different worksheet within the same workbook, or you can copy or move to an entirely different workbook. Incidentally, if that seemed too much like hard work, there is an easier way of doing this. If I just select the data again, and I did that, I'll do it again slowly. I'll click here, I'll drag across and select the data. If I want to, I can move that from one place to another, and what I do is I move the mouse pointer to the edge. Can you see here? So you move the mouse pointer to the edge of the selected data until it changes that sort of crosshair shape, and then I just drag around, and when I let go, it moves. Want to see that again? So I'll move to any of these corners, or any of these edges rather. I'll click here with the mouse button, keep it pressed down, and when I let go of the mouse button, it moves. You might think, okay, how do I copy? Well, basically you do the same sort of thing. You move to the edge here, you press the control key down, and then when you drag down and release the mouse button and then release the control key, that does a copy. So as you can see, there's numerous ways of moving and cutting from one place to another. So if you can't remember those shortcuts, just remember under the Home tab here, you've got the cut, copy and paste command. So notice paste is grayed out at the moment. The reason for that is I haven't selected anything. So if I select this, if I click on where it says copy, that is now available. So if I click down here and then clicked on paste, you've got various items or various options for when you're pasting. I'll just take the default one here, and there you go. So it doesn't really matter what technique you actually use, just one that you feel happy with, but make sure you can copy or move from one place to another within the worksheet, between worksheets, different worksheets in the same workbook, and also to a different workbook.